I know I kept saying that I would try to not have to keep talking about this anymore, but it just keeps popping up. And I told y'all that because of the actions of not only the family of Botham John, but because of the action of this judge, they will keep throwing this back out here in our face. They're going to constantly put the cameras in the face of the people who did this and keep asking them why they did it. And, and they're going to come up with the same response each and every time. Now, we've already heard what the family had to say, specifically the brother. But now we're going to find out what Judge Mammy Kemp had to say when they were asking her about why she decided to get up off of her bench and not only give Amber Guyger a hug, but also give her a Bible. And what she's in hot water for right now from this one religious group, basically saying that she shouldn't have combined state and church together when she did what she did. Now I'm going to read this article coming from USA Today. It says the judge who hugged an ex-Dallas police officer after she was sentenced to prison for killing her neighbor said Monday the embrace was appropriate. Now y'all just heard that those are her words. She said the embrace was appropriate. Her giving a hug to Amber Guyger, she said, was appropriate. Judge Mammy Kemp also defended giving Amber Guyger a Bible because the trial had ended and the former officer told her if she didn't know how to begin seeking God's forgiveness, and she fell for that. This is why I can't deal with these religious kooks. Following my own convictions, I could not refuse that woman a hug. Yes, you could have. She said, I would not, said Kemp, who is black. And we may need to peel back the layer of them onions because it might be mighty creamy underneath it. And I don't understand the anger. Now, mind you, these are all her quotes. She says she does not understand the anger behind why people are mad at her for giving Amber Guyger a hug. Let's see here, because last year this bitch broke into someone else's apartment and shot him dead in his apartment because she's just a wicked person. Didn't you not read all of those text messages? Not text messages, but them social media posts she made, them racist posts she made about black people that look like you, Mammy Kemp. And you still gave her a hug anyway because you felt it was the appropriate thing to do, and you don't understand the outrage and the anger? Are we really going to play that game right now? Are you going to really insult my intelligence? She says, and I guess I could say if you profess religious beliefs and you are going to follow them, I would hope that they not be situational and limited to one race only. Well, we can see what train she's on. She's on the Kumbaya All Lives Matter train. And I have a feeling that many people who fall into the belief of Christianity, and I'm not saying all of them, but very large majority fall into that same category. We just saw that also with his family. Kemp walked over to Guyger shortly after Brant John hugged and forgave her for fatally shooting his brother Botham John in his own apartment. The jury sentenced Guyger, who testified that she mistook John's apartment for her own and thought he was an intruder, to 10 years in prison last week. Guyger asked twice if Kemp could also hug her, the judge said, and Kemp obliged after a moment's hesitation. So Amber asked her, could she hug her? And she went over and gave her a hug anyway. Kemp says she saw Guyger change during her trial and wants her to live a purposeful life. Get the fuck out of here with that. Critics called Kemp's actions unethical, and one group requested a judicial misconduct investigation. The Freedom from Religion Foundation, a secular Wisconsin-based group that routinely files lawsuits challenging religious displays in government, filed a complaint saying Kemp was proselytizing from the bench. Kemp contended she hugged Guyger after the legal proceeding was over, noting the interaction was not of the official trial record. I didn't do that from the bench, she said. I came down to extend my condolences to the John family and to encourage Ms. Guyger because she has a lot of life to live. Are you hearing this? She says she has a lot of life to live. Like they literally care more for this chick than they do the actual victim. Like they have successfully thrusted uh Amber Guyger into the victim pedestal position. And Botham John, at this point, who is he? I mean, I can't even think if his name has even come out of the media in the last few days since this little stunt, because that's what I'm going to call it, a publicity stunt, actually occurred. Some activists also criticized the Hugs for taking focus off anger at police killing an unarmed black man. That's basically what I just said. And I knew that was going to happen. John's mother, Allison, called for reform in the Dallas Police Department, telling CBS this morning she did not want her son's actions to be misconstrued as a complete forgiveness. Well, first off, Miss John, Allison, didn't you forgive Amber last year, like almost immediately after she shot and killed your son in his apartment? And then you're going to come back. And now, based on what I've heard and, from things that I've heard you say, now it seems like you're being a little bit more forceful against this whole situation. And now you're going to say that your son hugging of her was misconstrued. Let's see here. I don't know how you can misconstrue him saying that you don't think that you should get any jail time, that you think that they're a good person, asking the judge twice to get off the bench and give her a hug and give her an embrace, and is a very tight embrace. There's no way that anybody can misconstrue any of that. I mean, kudos to you for trying to play the cleanup person for this whole situation. But no, we saw with our own eyes what everyone else saw, including yourself. That wasn't misconstrued. Kemp says she does not know if Guyger is Christian, but noted the former, well, I'm surprised, did they even ask her? But then again, she probably would have lied. But noted the former officer told her if she didn't have a Bible. When Guyger asked if God could forgive her, Kemp says she answered, yes, God can forgive you, and has, and apparently everyone else in that courtroom has as well. If she wanted to start with the Bible, I didn't want her to go back to the jail and to sink into doubt and self-pity and become bitter, she said, because she still has a lot of life ahead of her following her sentence, and I will hope that she could live it purposefully. The fact that the chick said she didn't even have a Bible lets you know right there with her which way, I guess, religiously she leaned, if she was even a Christian. And I noticed something else based on what Mammy Kemp said. She said she wants her to go for it and live a purposeful life. That's the same thing that they be saying to these palm-colored individuals, especially those who are teenagers, when they commit these acts and say, I don't want to ruin their future. They need to live a better life, and we're not going to send them to jail. We'll just give them probation. She basically just said the same thing to Amber Guyger. The only difference is Amber Guyger was actually going to jail. But from what I've heard, her lawyers have already filed them appeal papers. And we can thank the forgiving ass family and this forgiving ass judge for that. Because if they just went on that stand and just said how much they hated this bitch and how they want the worst for her and she deserves whatever she has coming to her, they would not have any grounds to appeal, because the family pretty much just let it know to let her rot for the next 10 years, unfortunately. But I don't think she's going to be in there all 10. Like, many of us have come to that conclusion that 10 years, it ain't happening. She'll be out, and I will give her 5, no more than 2. 5 being the most, 2 being the least. After all, the judge says she wants her to go forward and live a purposeful life, and I don't think you can do that behind bars. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.